Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks head to Glendale, Arizona to face Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, a pair of 2-1 NFC West teams squaring off. This is a massive matchup. You got a chance to go 2 games above 500. The loser of this one will drop to 2-2. I got to start off on the Seattle side of things with Torrey Horton, the 5th round draft pick for Seattle. Now, there was a certain game that I can vividly recall. It was a 2023 matchup, Colorado State versus Colorado. A late game. He had 16 catches, over 100 yards, a touchdown. Colorado State fell to Colorado, but of course, with all of the hype around the Buffaloes that season, vividly remember him having a really big showing, him playing very well in that game. Fast forward to this past week, he's got a punt return for a touchdown. He's got a receiving touchdown. This guy was electric against the Saints. They didn't need to do a whole lot offensively. Special teams pretty much won this game for him, but you have to love what you saw. You also like what you see from Jaxon, Smith-Njigba, clearly one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He will be a tough cover all day for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, for Arizona, I have to start with the unfortunate and sad news about James Conner. He's been one of the guys that does it the right way, a very good football player. For him to go down, season-ending injury with that right ankle, you hate to see that. All of us as big football fans of the sport, wishing him a very speedy recovery. For this game and the available players that they do have, I need to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. because he has not played well enough. I'll be the first person to talk about it, and I certainly will not be the last as far as this matchup goes. And the expectation, his play needs to elevate. That dropped pass from Kyler Murray, maybe it was underthrown a little bit. Fred Warner closing in 4-5 yards away from it, but he has to make that catch. We've seen him make that catch several hundred times before in his career without an issue. 2 guys on him, 3 guys on him almost seemingly, and not able to do that there. Another play in the end zone, but he ended up getting the ball deep down. He's just got to be better. 4th overall, you took this guy for a reason. He needs to play better and make those plays, or why he was the first wide receiver taken in the 2024 NFL Draft. Kyler Murray, he has been dynamic. We have seen him play to the level we have all become accustomed to, seeing him scramble for first downs. In that loss to the San Francisco 49ers, I was surprised that maybe they didn't try and go to that a little bit more. The run game had good injections from Murray, but a lot of them were just scrambles. Him just seemingly, okay, I'm going to find the edge of the defense and try and get a first down. Let's see a little bit more design run from Kyler, attacking Seattle on the edges, making sure that those guys have to stay in their lanes. And for Seattle, I was pleased to see Kenneth Walker get the carries that I expected him to have earlier on in the season. They went away a bit more from Zachariah Charbonnet or someone else getting the carries in this game against New Orleans, but he gets 16 carries, has 38 yards on the day, but 2 touchdowns. I want to see him get another healthy dose in this game, getting him the football. Zachariah Charbonnet, obviously not in this game, but when we talk about Seattle versus Arizona, you have to be able to run the football. A Michigan Wolverine on the side of Arizona, Will Johnson, who has been effective through this course of the season. He's very much so looking forward to covering the former Buckeye Jaxon, Smith-Njigba in this matchup. Everyone will have their eyes on that one. The 2 former rivals lining up against each other, but you got to be able to run the football. And Arizona, I see them struggling to do it against that Seattle defensive front. This was a team that went out to New Orleans and they were stout. When I was looking at Spencer Rattler throughout the day and looking at the New Orleans run attack, there was nothing doing. Spencer Rattler leaving the pocket early, trying to find guys. Alvin Kamara, basically a non-factor in this game, held New Orleans to under 3 yards an attempt on the ground. A positive for Seattle. Let's talk about passing the football a little bit more. Sam Darnold, first drive of the game, he comes out there, is rolling to his left. If I'm Arizona, I'm going to try to do something similar to what New Orleans had Sam Darnold do. It's just Sam Darnold came out rolling to his left, a beautiful throw to Jaxon Smith-Njigba does the same thing. A couple of plays later, he looks a lot like the guy that everyone watched with Minnesota a year ago, seemingly completely rejuvenated with Kevin O'Connell now in the Seattle system, really starting to see him get more comfortable. 14 of 18 passing, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, a very good performance. For Kyler, you have to keep going back to the tight end. Trey McBride, one of the best plays that I thought was of the weekend. He finds McBride, touch, perfectly placed ball. Trey McBride attacks with his hands for the touchdown. He is a matchup nightmare for the Seattle Seahawks, for them having to cover him. Remember, they don't have a guy like Jordan Brooks on that team anymore. It's going to come down to their depth at backer. Are they going to be able to limit him over the middle of the field? And offensively for Arizona, what I'm expecting from them is to get McBride 9 targets, 10 targets, make Seattle have to adjust, cover him to open up your one-on-ones. It's like you're watching Arizona throughout that game against San Francisco, a very frustrated team. Kyler wants to take his shots, but what do we end up seeing? Incomplete passes, not a team that's in sync, and they're looking at 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11. How many times did we see this team in 3rd and long throughout the day? Same can be said about the San Francisco 49ers with Mac Jones. Throughout the entire day, they were left to fend for themselves, both of these teams on 3rd and long. Efficiency was horrible. Cardinals were 5 of 15. San Francisco was 2 for 10. So Arizona, you can hang your hat on the fact that you were able to have a pretty good day in limiting Christian McCaffrey. 52 yards on 17 carries. Once again, Christian McCaffrey was a major impact in the passing game. 10 catches, 88 yards. Again, I'm looking at the Seattle Seahawks and their running back out of the backfield, Kenneth Walker. Can Seattle get him going? Maybe a couple of attempts for him, a couple of targets out of the backfield, screen plays, having to mitigate the potential effect of that pass rush. Josh Sweat, good player for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, where do I have a lean in this game? Who do I think will wind up winning this one? As of right now, the Seattle Seahawks are a 1.5 point underdog on the road at State Farm. Now, I think that Arizona wins this game on a game-winning field goal type scenario, 24-23. They hold on for a victory against Seattle. I like their weapons. I talk about all the time, teams that have the potential to win their division, eventually compete for championships. It is the necessity to have 2 weapons to pass the football to. College, NFL football, we see all of these teams. If you follow the Buckeyes, we see a bunch of Buckeyes in this football game. It's important to look at the weapons, right? They had Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Egbuka last season, a notable duo. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown to go with a great run game from Barkley. That very much so helps you. But Arizona, Trey McBride, and they've got Marvin Harrison Jr., Harrison, step up the game. It's time to be that guy that we all know that you are. For Seattle, same type of thing. They end up losing Metcalf, but they bring in Cooper Kupp, who has been serviceable for Seattle up to this point. I have a lot of faith in that young secondary. All of the new additions for Arizona defensively. Love what we have seen so far. A lot of these guys having big impacts. Buda Baker beat on that touchdown. He's got to hold the edge. Kyle Juszczyk, he's got his eyes in the backfield. Juszczyk gets behind him for the touchdown. That was crucial on the day. They had that game, 15-13 after the safety, unable to get enough first downs. But Calais Campbell, it's like anybody could have had this guy. Arizona's like, well, all right, we'll take him. He's already proving to be a pivotal part of that defense. Veteran player, great for the locker room. I will go with the Seattle Seahawks losing on the road. But for Seattle, Sam Darnold, a lot of positives to take away from. That secondary is one of the most talented in the league. I'm thinking about that one play. It was Job. Job had a really good play, but moving on the football, getting his hand in there. They've had good play from Byron Murphy. Remember, a really nice tackle for loss that he had in that game. So they have their weapons on defense. I'm going to side with Arizona. Let me know down below in the comments who that you think wins this football game. Fired up for this Thursday night matchup. I am sure you are too. So let me know. You think Arizona is it these Seattle Seahawks who pull this one out? I appreciate you so much for watching Blitz with a Blender. We break down, preview a ton of NFL college football content, so make sure to stay tuned for all of that, and I will see you next time. Thank you.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blunder.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.